questions.
Oral questions. Questions orales. I'm the leader of the opposition. Here we go. Get some W's going in the chat, folks.
There's been tragic data today, Mr. Speaker. 25% of Quebecers are living below the poverty line. That is, below a good average life. And this is a direct result of the centralizing, bureaucratic, unnecessary spending of this Prime Minister. And his spending is 100% supported by the Bloc Québécois. Mr. Speaker, when will the Prime Minister and the Bloc Québécois stop impoverishing Quebecers? The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Mr. Speaker.
Mr.
2 weeks
Speaker.
ago, we unveiled our budget. Our budget seeks to ensure fairness for all generations and for all Quebecers. Currently, a carpenter and a nurse pay taxes at a marginal tax rate that is higher than that paid by big business. That's not fair. Yet the Conservative leader opposes our plan for fairness. The only thing these Conservatives want is austerity. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
No, they want affordable living.
After 9 years, this Prime Minister is not worth the cost. He's not worth the cost for Quebecers. Quebecers are paying double for rent, for housing, and to service the national debt. This Prime Minister is a big spender. He is spending $54.1 billion on debt services charges instead of on health. What's worse, the Bloc Québécois voted in favor of this Prime Minister's spending. They support $500 billion in spending. Once again, when will this Prime Minister stop making Quebecers poorer? The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
All of Canada.
Mr. Speaker, here's the reality. What we just heard is untrue. Here's the truth. Canada has a AAA credit rating. Canada has the lowest debt and the lowest deficit of all G7 countries. The Conservatives are against our plan because the only thing they're in favor of is austerity, and they also support their very wealthy friends.
Leader of the Opposition.
After 9 years, this Prime Minister is not worth the drugs, disorder, death, and destruction. In May of 2022, he granted the BC NDP government's request for a criminal code exemption to allow crack, meth, heroin, and fentanyl use in parks, coffee shops, hospitals, beaches.
Whoa, I didn't know
Overdose
that.
deaths since exploded to a record-smashing 2,500 lost lives. The BC NDP government has reversed course and asked the federal government to recriminalize some hard drugs. Why won't this Prime Minister recriminalize these deadly drugs?
You mean I could have been doing crack in my local coffee shop?
Honourable Minister for...
I'm just kidding. That's not even funny.
Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we answered the call of the BC government when they requested the exemption on decriminalization of personal possession of certain illicit drugs. Mr. Speaker, what is driving this overdose crisis is the illegal drug supply. Every life lost is a tragedy. I met with Minister Whiteside this past Friday. We are reviewing their exemption request. Mr. Speaker, we have a clear lens on public health and public safety because we have a plan. They do not.
Public safety.
The Honourable Leader.
Canada's the biggest drug cartel.
Wasting time while people are dying. In the year after this radical Prime Minister granted the decriminalization of crack, heroin, and other hard drugs in parks and hospitals, 2,500 people died. The overdose death in the 9 years of this Prime Minister have tripled to the fastest rising of the 11 countries studied by the Commonwealth Fund. Nurses are afraid to go to work because they have to put up with addicts using meth, crack, and weapons in their hospital room. Even nurses are having to give up on breastfeeding because they're worried their kids will be contaminated with the drugs they breathed in. What the hell are they thinking over there?
Yeah. Drop some W's, man. Drop some W's. Recriminalize drugs across the board. current government doesn't give a shit.
Member, as a longtime member of this House, I'll just ask him to withdraw the offensive word, because it is not.
Withdraw what? No.
Draw because they're not thinking over there.
There you go. Uh-oh. He's going to kick him out.
The honourable government.
He ain't going to do shit.
Speaker, last week we saw the Leader of the Opposition once again encourage supporters of white supremacy, anarchy.
Here we go.
This has been a regular occurrence.
Here we go. Is he going to mention Diagolon again?
People who dismiss the slaughter of children in our schools. The Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you for the
Oh my God, folks! We just started. You can't see because my camera's in the way, but Melissa Lantzman is like screaming and laughing and pointing across the floor. Wow. The drought is over. Question period is back in session. All hell has broken loose in Parliament. Beautiful. Beautiful. He's going to unmute it.
I'm going to invite the government House Leader to start from the top and to choose his words very carefully so that they do not cause disorder in the House.
Mr. Speaker, last week...
Look at Melanie Jolie wearing her World War II fatigues.
With supporters of white supremacy, anarchy, and misogyny. This has been a regular occurrence. He draws the admiration of people who dismiss the slaughter of children in schools. The Leader of the Opposition now has 30 seconds to speak to this House and to Canadians once I sit down. I ask him to clearly disavow the views of these dangerous people. Will he do that?
All right. Let's go, Pierre.
Order.
Look at the clapping seals, eh? Once in a blue moon, they get up and they clap. Once in a blue moon. G.I. Jolie instead of G.I. Joe. That's what we're calling her, G.I. Jolie.
The honourable Leader of the Opposition.
I unequivocally disavow the guy who spent the first half of his adult life as a practicing racist, dressing up in blackface. Hamas, and now he's brought on the extremist and radical position of allowing legal drug use in playgrounds, in hospitals, in coffee shops that has led to the mass death of our people. Will he not refuse the demand of Toronto to replicate the decriminalization nightmare?
Oh my God! Oh, W's in the chat. Let's go. Oh.
Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sad to say the Leader of the Conservatives, the Opposition, has shown us
Fucking speechless.
He speaks without conviction and clarity on a question that should be very, very, very simple for him to address. His silence speaks volumes. This is not leadership, Mr. Speaker. This is political cowardice.
Look at Freeland. Are you standing up the same way you guys stood up to applaud Nazis in the House? Come on. Oh my God, dude. This is intense for a Monday.
This government stood by while food prices and rent skyrocketed. This hurts people living with disabilities disproportionately. After making folks wait more than 3 years, they announced a disability benefit that's too little, doesn't cover enough people, and is going to be clawed back by provinces. People struggling to put food on their table have been given crumbs by this government. When will the Prime Minister get serious about helping people living with disabilities?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker,
We
are glad to be
Where's her Slava Ukraine pin?
first federal government in Canadian history to put forward the financing for support for people with disabilities across our country. That is a milestone. It is a very big deal. Mr. Speaker, this is just the first step. We recognize there is more to do, including working carefully with provinces and territories, and we're going to do it.
L'honorable député de Burnaby Sud.
The honourable member for Burnaby South.
This Liberal government is failing people living with disabilities. Les groupes luttons.
Advocates for those living with disabilities are clear. The announcement of the disability benefit is just not enough. It's not working. $200, that's not enough. The Prime Minister has thousands, billions even, to give to big oil, but pennies for Canadians living with disabilities. Will he sit down with disability advocate groups and fix this problem?
L'honorable.
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Mr. Speaker, our government is proud. We are proud to be the first federal government to come forward with a disability benefit for those living with disabilities. This is a major step forward, and we are proud of our accomplishment. We understand that now we need to work closely with provinces and territories. This is just the beginning. We need to do more, and we will do more. Thank you.
Member from South Surrey, White.